Okay, so here's the deal. If you found this video, you probably have a 95 to 98 Honda Shadow ACE and are trying to jack this stupid thing. The manual says use a hoist, which is just unbelievable. So here's basically the problem, and it's a problem with various Shadows, although this Shadow ACE seems to be the worst. Usually you have a motorcycle frame with one of these on either side. You put a jack in here, and it jacks against both frames. So some of the Shadows, the oil pan goes below. There's your frame rail. You've got an oil pan going below it. So what you have to do with those Shadows is you get a 2x4 and run it along that rail, both sides, and then you can jack on that. The trouble with this Shadow is you've got all kinds of things getting in the way. You have the stand on one side, you have a bracket on the other side, then you have a linkage over here really close to the frame rail, all kinds of problems. So if you look online, drop the pencil. If you look online, you'll see various people say about this bike, oh, just throw some 2x4s in. Wrong, you can't do it. You'll also see people say buy the Laren jack with Laren jack comes with this adapter plate that goes in the jack with these 4 little arms that go to various places. Now, there's one place I found with the Shadow ACE that you can get a good point with all of these 4 little V's. One place, and it's not a good center of gravity. So what people do is they take these V's that come out of the box like this on an arm, and they cut them down a little bit so that it's not hitting this, that, and the other. My attitude is, wow, how many times do you lift a bike? If you do this once every 3 months, 6 months, do you really want to remember all these tricks? Just something's going to get broken. So the only real way to go is to get a couple of 2x4s in parallel, and I made mine a box so that it's solid and self-standing. And then you've got to deal with things like over here, this is the front of the bike, there's the front wheel. So over here, you've got to gouge it a little bit out you've got your radiator hose, I think water pump down there, so you've got to gouge it a little bit out here. You've got to take a big hole out here for your kickstand. You've got to take a big hole out here because you have your mount coming out for your exhaust. No, exhaust mount is coming across here. And then you've got to take a little bit of a chunk out here to not hit the engine mounting bolts. Then you've got to lower this section because it's slightly lower to the ground than this section. You've got to lower this section because it's slightly lower there. So it's a lot of work. Let me show you what I did. So here it is. There's a lot of cuts here. So this is about a 12.5-inch divider, 2 parallel rails. This had to come down. This is where the side stand goes. So front motorcycle here, side stand through here. This is about a 1/4 of an inch lower than here because that's the way the frame is. Inside, the inside edge here, there's a cut out there to protect where the radiator, I think it's the water pump down there, water pump and the hose. Over here, cut out because you've got the engine bolts sticking out here. The engine is here, engine bolts getting in the way. Here, pretty hacked out. There are 2 bolts coming down from the frame that I think, what is it? It's the linkage for the brakes. Linkage for the rear brake. Then you've got cut out here because you have a big old bracket that attaches the exhaust. And then this is a good old, I think that's a 1/2 or 3/4 inches lower at the back there. So when this goes under the bike, front is here. This goes on the left-hand rail. that goes on the right hand rail, and it creates just a really flat, solid jacket anywhere. Now the other thing about this Ace is a lot of bikes fit that jack in the background. That pad is about 11 inches wide. A lot of the Shadows, that's not enough. So what I did in this case is I don't know if you can see it there, but I ran that across a router head, created a groove all the way down. So that groove sits really well into that stop. So let's jack the bike up. So that's it. If you're going through the same pain, drop me an email or leave a comment here. And I could just basically get a measuring tape out and write all the dimensions on that, because there's no point in working it all out over again. It was a pain in the ass. Okay, take care. Bye.